No, but the thing is,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. One for him, and I believe it's Sunday day.
I have a lamp phone from
But first, I want to thank everybody for coming. Obviously, COVID's been tough on the entire universe. It's been tough on our hobby, but it's been great for our hobby. Although we've been away, after 2 years, we're back. And I can't believe it's our 17th Expo, our 25th year. We're celebrating 25 years. And the one thing that's great about this hobby is there's a new generation of collectors. It's a new generation of collecting. So, my new generation, I'd like to introduce Dave Meisel.
So we believe that for our 25th anniversary, it's time to refresh our image. It's important for our image to match your perception of us. So we're proud to announce that officially, we are now exactly what you know us as. MeiGray and only MeiGray. Our new logo. We also especially want to salute 4 customers who have been with us since the beginning. Each of these customers made their first purchases from us before I turned 8 years old. I'm 31. They are the remaining Ironmen of the MeiGray Expo, having attended all 17 of them, and we at MeiGray would like to express our gratitude to all of you for your dedication to us, but more importantly, to the hobby. So a round of applause for Mark Alberts, Matthew Handelman, John Pizzullo, and Jeff Thompson.
So I think what we'll find is there'll be a little shock, there'll be a little, oh, I can't believe that team is wearing that, and then it will become part of the character of the shirt. And we are all about the characters of the shirts. So sort of something ridiculous, I think it's going to be a lot less than we suspect. But I'd like to hear from some of the what some of the collectors think.
Stu, your take on the coming ads? Again, as somebody who bought sweaters, lots of them from yesteryear. And is this too many patches? Is this too many? Oh, no, they're moving the logo here. They're putting something on the chest. They're going to update this. They're going to back here, back under here. And now we got another little thing going on, whether it's a casino, whether it's a software company, whether it's finance or MedStar or whomever. And they're already on the practice jerseys. But what say you, sir?
Yeah, I mean, as someone that's collected minor league jerseys for a while, and they've had their ads, and like Philadelphia Phantoms had a Modell's patch, and I actually worked at a Modell's once, so I'm okay with it. I'm not, and plus, being a soccer fan, and hell, the crest is an ad, and the little patch is.
That's
the
what I was going to
patch,
say.
so.
The people who are fans of the world's football, this has been going on forever, and the multiple kits. And sponsor just every place.
And we forget, not to get selfish, but photo matching is so much important part of our hobby. It's yet another unique aspect of photo match. There'll be threads on the ad patches. There'll be ad patches that are a little crooked. And one day somebody's going to say, I know this jersey's real. It's got an imperfection on my ad patch. Just another patch to make the jersey a little different than the one next to it.
Stu, I'm sorry. I sliced into your time. Go ahead.
No, same thing. I mean, yeah, I think I was going to say, actually, authentication-wise, it's especially teams that aren't in our program or that don't have a set stamp or a date in there, just being able to date the jersey in case the team wears the same ones 2 years in a row. I mean, it will help authentication-wise. And, same thing, threads, other things are going to come up. As for, I think people get upset because it's a money thing, but at the same time, there's ads on the ice and people were upset about it then, ads on the boards and they were upset about that, and now you don't even notice it.
Dave, coming from a bit of a basketball background and NHL,
A little bit.
Maybe you have a different
so,
take?
I do, actually, and we had a heated discussion about this at the office. And I'm going to be quick because we actually want to crowdsource some opinions about this. But my thought is that it's going to improve the nostalgia for pre-advertising jerseys. I don't think jerseys with ads on them are going to hurt unless they're really gaudy. Like, I personally, some ads fit with the helmets. Capitals have Capital One, right?
They did
They
one
did?
year.
They did 1 year.
Right. So it's got
And now
the
it's
team
what,
name.
William Hill or Caesars? That's they got the casino
Caesars
deal.
up with
Yeah, they got the book
Caesar's
deal.
on the jersey. But
Yes.
there's some teams where you look at it and it's like, that just doesn't fit to me.
Sure.
Where it's like, a retail outlet.
But
a big one.
Rakuten is okay on the Warriors.
Go and say,
Yeah.
Benjamin Moore paints on the Ranger helmet.
Sure. You look around, you say, wait a second, these sponsors are, it's not, and again, if I had a car wash and could sponsor an NHL team, that'd be freaking awesome to have a patch right on the team.
Yeah. So, but I'm wondering if anyone out there has some feelings about jersey advertising that they'd like to chime in with.
If you have a thought, come on over. Just grab the mic. Introduce yourself, please, and we'd like to hear what you think.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I'm Tom Midney. I just think that Original Six, I think it's an awful idea. I mean, I can see the other teams, but when you look at hockey's Original Six, seeing ads on that, and I just hate
Tom-
it.
Tom,
I don't
why-
want to see a Canadians jersey with a with an ad on it.
Why so? Just don't touch the classics. Like it's almost as if the NFL, you can touch everybody else. Don't touch the Bears. Don't touch the Lions. Don't touch.
Exactly. I think, especially in
Packers.
hockey, though, because the Original Six was such a big deal, and it still is. A lot of people think it's a big deal, and the other teams, granted with expansion, okay, fine, but I hate to see any of the Original Six with it. So.
How much, Barry, do you think that, and I'm sure this is fueled in or baked into a little bit of Tom's logic, that the owners don't need any more money? This is greed. This is, we love the uniform, and the uniform is sacred. Don't touch the uniform, yet it's going to fund, you'd hope, better better arena, better player acquisitions, all of the above. But it's also going to line their pockets.
Yeah, it is about the money, and we have to be realistic. I mean, I remember when Major League Baseball was going to be ruined when free agency hit in 1975, and the Yanks bought up Catfish Hunter. And the fact is that sports has become a mammoth industry. Everybody's always looking to make more money. So that's not gonna stop.
Yeah, I mean, the National Hockey League, in essence, is last to the party, or one of the last to the party. Again, you look at the world's football and you see all these soccer transfer fees, and you wonder, how the hell do you fund X upon tens, sure. A couple other things as far as for the group to discuss panel-wise. Has there been a favorite jersey, and Stu, you do a ton of authentication, has there been something to come through MeiGray? Favorite jersey sold, favorite jersey looked at through the years, something you stood out and went, phew, hold on a second, I got to collect myself. Maybe a cigarette, maybe a nice cold shower, or none of the above. But it was just so amazing, and it doesn't even have to be a big name player.
Well, it's funny. There is one that's in this room right now, and going back and thinking, there are a few, but there is one in the room right now that it just amazes me that it got worn on the ice. But at an event that the Rangers had, Janet Gretzky was on the bench and drew a heart inside the back nine of Wayne's jersey. And in the next couple games, he actually wore it with that heart on the jersey. And I just think the story behind that, the uniqueness of it, it's just so cool, And I told Barry today, if I would have won the lottery last night, I was leaving with the shirt. I love that shirt.
I'm very different. I can't believe, and the thing we hear most often, and to Phil and Isaac in the room who understand, the fact that history can be preserved that you have jerseys that are nearly 100 years old, sweaters, literal wool
sweaters.
sweaters,
Yep.
and they're preserved. And we've seen the old footage, the grainy black and white footage. We've heard of the Seattle Wanderers and the Toronto St. Pats. We've heard of these teams. We've seen the black and white photos. To actually be able to walk into this room in North Branch, New Jersey, and see a Boston Bruins 1927-28, to see a Barbara Pole Chicago Blackhawks, to walk across the Hockey Hall of Fame's display here and see these shirts, that's what amazes me, that they still exist in such great fashion for us to enjoy.
David, something to add?
Yeah, so I was actually, I put this question on our sheet because I was inspired by a question we got from Rivs Nation on Twitter. I believe that's Rivs_fans. That's the Metropolitan Riveters supporters group for the Premier Hockey Federation. They asked us what our favorite jersey or Rivs jersey that we have in stock or ever sold or auctioned was. And I wanted to put my own spin on the answer, as I love to do. And it's my favorite jersey is one that we authenticated, but not one that we ever sold or auctioned. This was the first year that in women's hockey, players were hitting major milestones based on the amount of games they play. You typically have a 20-game season, and professional women's hockey in the U.S. has only been around for 8 years. So Madison Packer, the captain of the Riveters, wore multiple jerseys in her 100th career game. It was the first time we had to put something into practice that we'd done so many times at the NHL level, whether it's Nick Foligno playing his 1,000th game this year, or Jakub Voracek, or Nicholas Backstrom scoring his 1,000th point, where jerseys have to get swapped out. It was just really fun for me as our director of that program to be able to get Madison the jersey from the game, the jersey that she wanted to keep. We said, hey, look, we're going to have two for you today. Which one do you want? Do you want the one you start the game with, or do you want the one you finish the game with? And I'm not going to pretend to remember. I believe she took the one she finished the game with, and it was 2 periods. So it was just cool for me personally to be able to execute that, as I've, kind of been around this company forever, and most of the people in the room, like, people come up to me, they say, I remember, when you were, and they put their hand at their hip level, and it's like
Knee high to a coho.
Yeah, it's like, guess what? I'm in my 30s, so.
Scott, one thing on that I think is important, again, thanking the collectors and thanking the enthusiasm of this hobby, is that by organizing the hobby the way we have as a group, we've impressed the teams and the leagues. Once upon a time, they wouldn't even listen to us that we existed. Now, they want to execute. They want to swap jerseys. The players understand the hobby wants one. The collectors want one. So to see a Winter Classic, one of the great NHL events, and knowing the players fully understand that when that period ends, they're taking the jerseys off, they're sending them for authentication, they're putting another one on. I think that's, you talk about, we should be proud of ourselves as a hobby that they've said, we want to do this because we want to promote the greatness of and the history. Yeah. And we've done that.
And you mentioned Phil and Isaac, and I believe Phil's going to join us in a quick second or two. The fact that the Hall of Fame is here, the fact that the National Hockey League wants something to do with this, not only partner through teams, but the HHOF is in the house today. That speaks volumes. This isn't... It's a credit to you, and it's a credit to all of us with the passion and whatnot. So this is it's truly is a partnership that has existed for a long time and will continue to do so. Pleased to be joined by Phil Pritchard, joining us here, Tales from the Warehouse, Volume 5. Scott Linn, Barry Meisel, Dave Meisel, Stu Oxenhorn, nice enough to give up his chair. Mr. Pritchard, of course, keeper of the cup, a gentleman I've had the good fortune, and a lot of us have, of literally bumping into over the course of the years. And he's got stories to tell, but I won't ask you about any of them today. When you come to this, Phil, and you've been to several of these, what's your vibe?
Well, you know what, Barry, it's funny because Barry and I were just talking today. I first met Barry after he wrote the Mike Bossy book in fall of '88, right, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, fall of '88 at the old Hockey Hall of Fame. So that means we're old. I was trying to figure it out in years, but it's just we're old. That was 34 years ago. 34 years ago was when I first met him. And then, our paths go different way, and here we are years later, and we try and make it to this show every year. And it's always so special to see the passion the guys have about the jersey collection, and it's the different jerseys that are out there. And there's some amazing ones here this year that I've never seen before that are, I know you guys were talking about Cape Cod earlier, that 2 of them are here, and that's the first time I've ever seen that jersey, and it's unbelievable.
And he's the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I was going to say, right, you're pseudo-celebrity. When the cup comes out, people say, that's Phil from the MeiGray Expo. No, that's Phil,
Yes,
keeper of the
Leo
cup.
DiCaprio on the couch meme.
I'd say pseudo something else, but we'll just go with pseudo.
No, take it and run with it.
Maybe
but we
psycho.
all see you and we say, that's it. And you bring just hundred and X years of history with you, and then you still walk around and you are enamored, mesmerized,
It is, and
whatever.
it's exciting. I know we work with Barry and Stu and Dave and everyone every year and try to come up with a different theme. And this year we did defunct teams and logos, which is fun, and there's some great logos out there. And that's what's great about the hobby is people collect them for different things, whether it's guys or numbers or something. And I mean, Stu's got a University of Pennsylvania jersey there today.
Saw it in his
To me,
collection,
that's
yes.
the jersey. I love that kind of stuff, and it's the unusual, it's the extreme, but it's the hobby, and that's what it's about.
You mentioned Stu's UPenn. Is there anything else here today that you step back
Well,
from the table
I know
and
we
you go,
talked about the Cape Cod.
Yes.
but I know Andrew over at the North American Hockey League display there. Those broom dusters and the Erie Blades and Maine Nordiques, those are amazing. And the NHL jerseys obviously are the pinnacle of it all, but it's why the hobby exists, is because there's all these other things that reach up to this pyramid of the jersey hobby, and each table has a different unique thing about it. And the Brodeur Stastny jersey, what a great story. I mean, that one's a beauty. And
Phil, what's it like when not a typical day, but a day when you're there and something amazing comes in? Do you always know in advance? Do you hear from a family that we've got this stuff? Or have there been times when the door knocks and the delivery driver and you open a box and there's hockey history? What's that like for you?
to me, and it's like here, when you see something, it's so exciting. I remember when we first opened at the new Hall of Fame, and a lady came in. Her name was Dodie Cox, so never forget her name. And she said, my dad was on the 1893 Montreal Amateur Athletic Association. They won the first Stanley Cup. And she goes, I have his Stanley Cup ring that I want to give to you. And she had it in her pocket. And it looks like a traditional male wedding ring, but here's a Stanley Cup ring from 1893. There's only 7 of them. And she says this should be the home for it. And she came out of the blue, just came over, and Miss Dodie Cox was her name. And we have it on display, and proud that it's on display, and we can share it with everybody. And that kind of stuff, to me, Barry, it excites us every time. And I'm sure, like you guys, you see something it's just wow.
Yeah.
And that's what this whole room is
Right.
right in here. You walk to each table, and it's wow.
Like the stories of Miss Cox, like the story of the sweaters, like the
Yeah.
story of the broom dusters, like the story of the UPenn. Tons and tons of stories. And again, your wing trophy that you spend a lot of time with, there's a boatload of other stories. And see, we did the podcast segment, Phil, and we didn't even ask you about Obey Kubel. It didn't even come up.
Never even came up.
I don't even know what to say about it, but we're moving away.
I'll tell you what we can say about it in one thing. We walked in today, and of course on our display we've got all the mannequins sitting there, and of course what jersey's sitting there that Barry and Stu set up for us was exactly his
It's a trap.
It was.
You were being trolled in
Yeah.
person, and I don't even know what that's called.
It's a good trap, though. It's fun.
It's an excellent.
But you
trap.
know what? It's a story, and that's
Exactly.
what every one of these jerseys have. They all have a story to each and every one of us out there.
Exactly.
I think we have the owner of said jersey.
There it is.
There it
That's
is.
it,
Is
right
the cup
there.
been repaired?
It's been repaired already.
Yes.
We're good. Yeah.
All good. Phil, thank you so much
Oh, no
for
problem.
your
It's
time.
always good to be here.
Barry, Dave, Stu, we thank everybody for listening and for your continued support. This has been Tales from the Warehouse. The warehouse is closed.